So this is one of those videos going into the season here that should be on the whiteboard, but the whiteboard is still in storage and it has not made its way to its new home yet, or the new whiteboard that we're going to have going into the new cabin here when it's done. So what we're going to talk about today is the top 10 ways to stay scent free this hunting season. So along the way, you've heard me touch on certain strategies that I use throughout the hunting season, as far as in our regimen of being scent free and staying scent free, and trying to not get lax about that or getting lazy throughout the season. And because I'm here to tell you, before we even start the top 10 list here, is that's when accidents happen, when you're the season's drawn out, and not only the scent part of it but the noise part of it, you just get tired. So we're going to focus on putting all those in kind of categorizing them here. We're going to start with, before you even get to the farm, what you do and what I recommend that you do, and then we're going to go through there, and we're going to put these up here on the new blue backdrop that we've got, that we're going to use here for a while. So the top 10 ways to stay scent free going into the 2021 deer season. Number one, we're going to start, like I said, starting away from the farm before you even get to the farm. Number one, showering with the no scent products, with dead downwind products, or any scent elimination products of your choice. Showering with them the day before, the hour before, to me doesn't cut it. In this day and age, everybody's into the beard products and the hair gel and the cologne and everything like that, and that stuff, especially cologne, I've talked about that before. This is dating back to my days as a guide. That stuff does not go away. I learned that the hard way years ago, and I can honestly tell you I will never go back to that again. I don't have it here sitting with me, but this is the dead downwind product, obviously, and then there's the soap and the laundry detergent and everything that comes with that. So showering with the no scent elimination system weeks in advance, if not months. So what I do is I always start a month out. So like in Michigan, our opener was October 1st. So on Labor Day weekend, or the September 1st, I started showering in nothing but the scent elimination system of our choice at that time. The hygiene to me is one thing. I understand that. But when that stuff sets in your pores, and that cologne sets in your pores, or that beard product is locked into your hair, there is no scent elimination, dead downwind included, that is going to cut that and get rid of it. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, been in the stands when I was with the Outdoor Channel, traveling the country, filming hunts as an outfitter. I'm telling you, it doesn't work. Don't believe that there's any scent elimination system out there that's going to cut through that stuff. If you come into camp and you've got cologne on from the night before, and you think you're going to jump in the shower an hour before, will it help? Oh yeah, it's going to help. It's going to drastically help, but it's not going to take it away. Number two kind of goes along with that, washing your clothes right off the bat. Now, washing your clothes at first, I always go through and they have the detergent and the pods, and we use either or. I've got both on the shelf, but I always start the season right before. I don't wash them months in advance and lock them away. I start that, like if it's a weekend opener, or if you're going to be within a couple of days there, I always take the time. And if you're traveling, that's a different deal, but wash those, take the time, wash them right before the season starts, and keep them contained in those containers. I take them directly out of the wash machine. I put them in the dryer. Before I turn the dryer on, I take the lint trap out of the dryer and make sure that lint trap, before you start that dryer, is completely clean. Don't do that. I'm guilty of that, done that, and not thought much of it, and that doesn't help. We're going through the whole process, and then you're putting all that good flower smell back in there. Take 5 towels or 7 towels for the week. Take those towels and wash them with your clothes or in that solution, and package those away as well. Your towels, your shower towels, because think about it. You're in there, you take the shower, you're all scent free. You step out of the shower, you dry down, you dry off with the towel that you guys just did the laundry with, and you're perfumed all back up again. It sounds simple, but I'm telling you right now, it works. Number 3, this is a kind of a step that is on the way to camp or traveling or filling the ATVs up when you're at camp, is gas. And I'm going to make sure my fuel in my truck has been done a couple of days before, and I'm going to make sure that the side-by-side, in case I need it, or I'm doing anything in here, on the farm over the next day or two here, that side-by-side's got gas in it. I'm not touching that gas. I'm not getting that stuff all over my hands. Like I said, just one of those steps. If you take the precautions, eliminate some stuff out of that, you don't have to rely so much on the scent elimination. Does it work? Yes, it does. If it wouldn't work, I wouldn't be using it. I'd be making my own, or I'd be doing something. I'd be saving a boatload of money because, it works, but it's not a miracle. So, gas. Make sure that you don't go to the gas pump. With gas being said, if a lot of folks go and they're wearing their boots that they're going to go out in the woods with at the gas pump. Not only, well, I didn't spill any gas. Well, somebody else did before, so the bottom of your boots are soaking in all that stuff at the gas pump. Now, a lot of folks that have been in the woods for a long time are going to listen to this top 10 list and think, this is ridiculous. I do all this stuff. Well, I hope you do, but there's a lot of folks out there that don't. There's new hunters out there that might be watching this. We're going to touch on that in the end, but maybe folks aren't, acclimated to what it really takes to get that close during bow season, during archery, with archery equipment in hand. These things matter. So after filling the ATVs or the UTVs up, the next step is, in the mornings, sometimes if you're able to take a side-by-side or the ATV or the truck or whatever the case is and go to a parking lot or something like that where you walk in. Here on the farm, I've got a road access that we're going to go all the way up to the north end of the farm on south winds that we're going to access in, because I can't get around that road access. I'm going to go all the way to the outside to keep that pressure out, but it's on the road, so we're going to be in the buggy. So what I'm going to do is, my clothes are going to be in the back in a tote. I'm not going to be dressed sitting here in the driver's seat touching all that stuff. Oil, exhaust fumes getting all over me. We wait till we get up there. You shut the machine off, you shut the truck off, you wait till the fumes go away, get out, have a bottle of water, relax for a minute, let all the fumes go, take the totes out of the back of the buggy, set them down. What I like to do is I flip maybe you got some video of this too, but I flip the top off from my totes, lay those on the ground. That gives me something to stand on, especially those mornings when the ground's wet or cold or snow. Stand on that stuff, and it keeps you out of the elements. When you ride back, when you get back out of the woods, this is kind of out of rhythm here, but when you get out of the woods, do the same thing. You put it right back in the tote. Don't ride that machine back, with that scent all over you, and you'll be much happier. So once you get to that spot that you've elected to use as your park spot, you got dressed, you waited till all the fumes were away, you got dressed, and you go to leave. One of the biggest overlooked steps is spraying down right then and there. I like to spray down completely, just like I am in the stand, but I focus on my boots. If you don't have in the truck, sometimes you can carry boot wash or whatever. Wash those boots down. Maybe you've got a access route that's in a creek bottom like we do here. Go ahead and walk in that creek, and as you're walking, kind of washing those boots off. All that stuff helps. But make sure that when you're walking in, that's your last step before you enter their world. Go ahead and spray those boots down your pant legs, for example. That's one of the ones that can tie to this, is I put my pant legs in my boots when you're walking to the stand. Once you get to the stand, you can put them out, but the reason that we put our pant legs inside of our boots is when you're walking, all of that, if you're on the outside, you have an outlet for the scent to transfer down on the outside of your boots from your clothes or sweat or whatever the case is, transfers down every time you walk. You think about it, it's just leaving the bottom of your pant leg. So what we do is we tuck those in, not to mention you're rubbing along all of that, brushing all that stuff in. So make sure, tuck those in till you get to the stand. If it's cold, sometimes it is warmer to put them over top of your boots. Get to the stand, then you can pull them out, put them on top, whatever you want to do. Number 6 is one of the things that I do that a lot of folks say maybe I'm crazy about doing, but I wear gloves to the stand. Hopefully your access in and out of the stand has been prepared, but if you're on public ground or you're hunting a new lease, or you moved a stand, you don't have that access polished in, let's say, there's always a chance that you're going to grab stuff, you go to lose your balance, you're touching everything. Now, we touch trail cameras all the time and the deer are on them an hour later. Is it a big issue? maybe not, but in the season when there's other pressure going on and new deer are in the area, and you grab a hold of a branch and there just happens to be something on your hand from grease on the side-by-side tailgate or something that you didn't know. I just wear my gloves after I leave there on my way to the stand. It just helps the preventative measures, I guess. Number 7, don't blow your scent into the core. So when you leave that parking spot or you leave the truck, one of the biggest things to me is to focus on, do not blow that scent into the core. You should always be focused, thermals included, where that wind is going. I see too many folks out there worrying about where the wind is at once they get to the stand. Well, what happened on the way there? Did you blow the, I see this a lot, going to the stand, turning around and hunting just where you walk back in. Hopefully if you follow the channel, that's not the, the rhythm that you're following here. We should be accessing into those stands into a T, so you don't have the chance of cutting that line of travel. If you're hunting a leeward stand or something like that where you do have to cut the land of travel, that's different. But it's at that point right in front of the stand. You're not saturating the entire farm on the way in there. It's it sounds like I said, a lot of folks that have some time in the timber, maybe you're going to watch this and you're going to say, who in the world would do that? Well, it happens. It happens a lot. It happens to the most experienced people in the world. You look at hunt stand, you look at the weather, you're on there, you're on deer cache, you got all this stuff right in your favor, the wind is good at the stand. What happened before you got to the stand? Always make sure, do not just, simple, don't blow the core, don't blow the scent into the core. And once you're on stand, obviously the scent is not going into the core as well. So just remember that on your accesses after you leave your parking spots, your walk-in location, don't blow that scent into the core. So number 8, I get to the stand. Obviously I've got my scent or my gloves on. I tried to stay scent free as possible. I sprayed down, my boots were clean. I'm to the stand now. I immediately climb up. I don't waste any time. I'm starting to wear my bow on my back even. All my stands have pull-up rope, but I like to have that on there because I climb right up the stand. All that scent, it's a less chance of having something happen at the base of the tree, touching something again, climb up the ladder that stand or climb up the sticks, whatever. Leave the gloves on, because if you get that far, you take the gloves off, go ahead and climb up there, and you just transferred your scent all over the sticks now. It's very minimal probably at that point because you're good and clean before that, but go ahead, get into that stand immediately, and then focus on what to do once you hit the platform. One of the biggest mistakes folks do is they wear their coat in or whatever, and they get all sweated up, and then when they get to the stand, because they didn't want to carry their coat, they get to the stand, take the coat off and hang it up. Well, all of a sudden you just open that coat, you just let all the scent go all over. You got to remember, it's not just where you're hunting, it's those scent cones what we're worried about. So I recommend is when you leave the truck, dress light. You wear something light, even if it's cold. Dress something lighter. If you know that you're going to, always take precaution. I say that caution. Something happens, you trip and fall, you don't want to freeze. But make sure that you leave. Take the time. If you got 20 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, leave an hour early, whatever the case is. Make time ahead so you don't sweat up going to the stand. Number 9 is one of the bigger ones. I'm trying to get through these as quick as I can. But number 9 is one of the biggest ones to me. There's this huge deal out there, all these blinds that everybody likes to, big comfortable blinds. I'm a blind guy myself, especially with my background blind and, box blind. But one of the things is that you need to remember is everybody thinks is because you're going to go to that blind and you're going to lock that door and those windows, keep those windows sealed, you're going to get in there, which I don't ever keep my windows sealed anyway. I've been in too many situations where you can't get the window open quick enough, and then the chance of an opportunity of shooting a good buck is blown because of a squeaky window or something. I always get there and leave them open. Now if you get there and it's dark when you get there and then you want to open them later, then that's something different. But don't get caught in this, like I said, these traps that tell you that once you get in there you can keep everything locked and nothing can smell you. Well, that may be, but like I said, it's just like taking the coat off when you get to the stand. What happens when you crack the window? You're in there cooking. There's a million things that go inside of the blind. And you're in there. You're not spraying down. You haven't sprayed down from the truck. Now you're in there and you're all sweated up. You got your coat off. You got your coat hanging up. Your coat's right next to the window. And don't, like I said, don't get caught in that trap of, believing just because I'm in the blind I can get away with everything, because it might work today, it might work tomorrow, but it's going to haunt you one of these days. So number 10 is one of those things that, yes, I've got clients, I've got friends, family members that do this, and I hear stories every year of how someone, was smoking a cigarette from the stand and killed the biggest buck that they've ever killed. Well, a lot of times you look at those stories, you transfer that back, and you start digging into it, and it was during the rut, or something got bumped, and the deer come in, and maybe it was on a way through real quick, and there's always something that ties to it, that deer, if he would have came in cautious as they're doing most of the season, you wouldn't have got away with it. Smoke, obviously, if you're going to smoke. If you're going to smoke cigarettes, whether when you're on stand or before, or you're not going to be able to, and that's a health deal, and I get that it's not easy to quit smoking, but if you're not going to do that before the season, then save your money. Don't buy this, because it's absolutely pointless. This is not covered up smoke good enough in my book. I mean, if I'm going to the point where I'm washing and I'm not using cologne, and I'm making sure I'm using unscented deodorant, or the dead downwind no scent deodorant, your smoke, just like gas, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to go away. So chewing is another thing. You think of chewing, a lot of guys chew with spit bottles. Okay, yeah, you're in the stand. The bottle is probably the best situation, so you can put a cap on. If you're going to chew it all, spit into the bottle, put the cap on, put it back in your pack. That's what I used to do years ago when I chewed, and I still wasn't years ago. I still wasn't into the chewing on the stand. I just have never done that. Most of the time the reason is because you don't spit in that, you spit on the ground, and here you go again, you're contaminating everything below that you just worked to get there. Now, it's a real deal. I know it's hard, for a lot of folks to let that go, but it's something to really watch. So the number 11, we got a little extra here, and like I said, I'm not here to cause any friction. I'm just here to give you facts, and the fact is that even orange clothing, I put a little joke here on it, even orange clothing needs to be washed and taken care of. And why do I say that? Well, orange kind of represents rifle hunting or gun hunting. Most of the time, I don't see any of this regiments being taking into consideration during the gun season. I see guys that go through, or hunters that go through each and every year, that have a very strong scent elimination system that they follow and they do, and then it gets to gun season and they don't wash their orange vest or the orange hat that they got just come from off the shelf in Walmart on the way to camp, or their orange gloves that haven't been washed, or the boots that they bought didn't get sprayed. The orange, I don't know what it is about orange, no harm here to downwind, but I don't know what it is about orange, but it seems to shut people's brains off. I think what it is there's so many other things. A lot of it is there's so many other things that you're preparing. You got the kids, you got the family. It's more about that deer camp, and I'm all about that. Don't get me wrong. I'm 100% on board with it. And the reason I'm telling you this stuff is because I'm as guilty of it as anybody. You get into the camp. This is one of the things. This could be probably number one. Is you get into camp and all that cooking. My father's horrible about this. He's got to cook a full course meal for every hunt. Morning, noon, and night. And it's great. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind the food, but all my hunting clothes are outside. They're stored away somewhere. They're in the shed. They're outside in the back of the truck still in the totes. Whatever the case is, it does not come inside. Stopping at a restaurant. Could be another one of these. Stopping in a restaurant, going in, wearing your boots on the wax floor, your same boots that you're walking to the tree stand. Yep, okay, I sprayed them. Well, that wax isn't coming off. If you ever put wax on the bottom of anything or your truck and it doesn't come off, how do you think that this bottle is going to break that wax that you pick up from the floor, a tile floor? Not to mention you're in there and hours later you can smell it on your clothes during the off season when where you've eaten the bacon. That stuff soaks into your clothes. But whatever it is about the orange clothing and representing gun hunters, this isn't for everybody. I understand that, but if you're going to do this on a bow hunting side of it, teach your kids, make sure that there's some folks that have maybe not bow hunted before, that are gun hunting only for years, and then all of a sudden now when they're in the woods, whether that's crossbow related, whatever the case is, because it's easier to do, but they jump in a tree stand and they're getting busted. All of this starts counting against you, and it's not fair. It's not fair to them not to understand this really is the real deal. This scent elimination system, when you're trying to get that close to any scent elimination system, but get one that you believe in, it's a different world. It's not going to a gun blind and locking the doors and cooking bacon, cooking eggs, opening the door and shoot. Do deer get killed that way? Yes, they get killed that way, and I'm not going to say they don't. I've got some family friends back home that do that, and they kill deer every year. But are they the biggest mature deer in the area? No. And is it all about shooting the biggest buck in the woods? To a lot of people, it's not. To me, it is. So that's why I'm here. If we were here just to give you information on how to kill any deer, I probably wouldn't have a business, and I probably wouldn't waste my time here on the channel, right? Because most immature bucks or deer in general can be harvested by making some whoopses, like where I'm here in Kentucky, in Iowa, Illinois. When you have those, that mature deer level is higher, you're not going to get away with this stuff. 10 here, actually 11, 12, 13, how many ever we added into this whole deal here. We'll kind of keep this short. I'll try to edit it down as much as I can. But 10 ways to try to bulletproof, go the extra mile, put the effort into scent elimination each and every year, but especially this year. Teach someone something different. Try to focus this, make this orange color not shut your brain off. So, top 10 ways this year, more scent elimination. I think if you go the extra mile, you'll be happier with the outcome this year, and you can do a percentage. Look back at last year. How many times did you get winded? Go into this year and say, hey, I did some of these things. I changed something, and I didn't get winded at all, or I got winded less. So there's the top 10 ways with a couple extras in there for you.